I managed to place top 4 in the 2023 Philippine Nationals, which earned me an invitation to Worlds despite it being my first year of competitive play. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my competitive career so far. In this video, I'll go over the full team composition, explain how each Pokemon works, some of my favorite plays from the tournament, and a few lessons I learned along the way. So hit that like button and let's jump right into it. The most important aspect of playing competitively is choosing a team archetype that suits your style. Your archetype guides your choices like what to lead with, when to set up speed control, and when to play defensively or pivot out. A player with a defined archetype can make faster and more confident decisions because they understand their team's flowchart or the typical sequence of plays to reach victory. Some of the archetypes in Pokemon BGC are Tailwind and Trick Room teams. These are two of the most influential speed control mechanics. Both moves manipulate how turn order works in battle, but they do so in opposite ways. Understanding how and when to use them is crucial for building a competitive team and managing matchups. Tailwind. Tailwind doubles the speed stat of all Pokemon on your side of the field for 4 turns. The common Pokemon who can set up Tailwind are Talonflame, Tornadoes, and Whimsicott. Tailwind is used to let your Pokemon outspeed the opponent's entire team, often turning slower but powerful attackers into offensive threats for a few turns. Meanwhile, Trick Room reverses the speed order for 5 turns. Trick Room flips the traditional speed game on its head. It's designed to let slow, bulky heavy hitters to dominate for several turns by outspeeding faster Pokemon that normally threatens them. There are also players who are famously known for using a weather team like Joseph Ugarte using a sun team and Gavin Michaels with his famous rain team. But the team archetype I decided to go is what we call the 2-2-2 Dondozo Tatsugiri team. Dondozo and Tatsugiri is two of the new Pokemon that have been introduced in the Paldea region. They are one of the most famous and unique duos in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet BGC. Let's break down how their synergy works and how to use them effectively in competitive battles. Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri's ability is Commander. Its effect is when Tatsugiri is sent out alongside Dondozo, it jumps into Dondozo's mouth instead of staying on the field. It doubles all Dondozo's stats. In exchange, you have to play 1 versus 2 until Dondozo dies and you cannot switch your Pokemon out. In this state, Tatsugiri becomes untargetable and cannot take damage until Dondozo faints. My Tatsugiri holds the Focus Sash item, which makes it to always guaranteed to survive super effective moves from the opponent. It runs Draco Meteor, Muddy Water, Sleep Talk, and Icy Wind with a Terra type of water. Since it holds the item Focus Sash, I trained it to be as fast and as strong as possible. Let's go to its partner, Dondozo. Dondozo's ability is Unaware. Unaware ignores the opponent's stat changes when attacking or defending. This means Dondozo doesn't care if the opponent uses Swords Dance or Calm Mind. It deals and receives damage as if those boosts never happened in the first place. And Dondozo will similarly ignore their defensive changes when it's attacking. So if you plan to beat Dondozo by setting up your own Pokemon like Nasty Plot Goldengo or Iron Defense Como, you're gonna have to accept that Dondozo's ability will invalidate your setup. Dondozo's moveset are Wave Crush, Earthquake, Protect, and Substitute, holding the leftovers for HP recovery and with a Terra type of Steel. I choose to run Substitute and Terra Steel with Dondozo because of its most common counter, Amoonguss. Amoonguss can run Clear Smog, which removes all the stat changes in the target if it connects. Dondozo is also immune to all status moves, Fake Out, or Intimidate if Substitute is activated. Trainers can also counter Dondozo's Omnibus by running Haze, which removes all the stat changes on the field, and some can just forcefully hit Dondozo with super effective moves to KO it. Some benefits of having Dondozo doubled all of its stat is it's incredibly effective at damage trading. You can always pressure a knockout to your opponent's Pokemon with Wave Crush, or spread out damage over your opponent's entire team using Earthquake, allowing the rest of your team to pick up knockouts on your opponent's weakened team once they take out Dondozo. Which lead us to the other duo, Chiyu and Fluttermane. Fluttermane is one of the most dominant and influential Pokemon in competitive Pokemon format since its introduction in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Fluttermane has incredible special attack, special defense and speed, but extremely low HP and physical defense. This makes it a glass cannon. It hits extremely hard and fast, but can easily be knocked out by strong physical attacks. While others run booster energy on Fluttermane or Focus Sash, my choice of item is Choice Specs to provide maximum damage. I run Fluttermane with the move Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Energy Ball with a Terra type of grass, which makes Energy Ball deals more damage and for Spore immunity. It hits ridiculously hard, and with Geo on the field dropping special defense, even bulky Pokemons just evaporated. Geo is one of the ruined Pokemons introduced in Scarlet and Violet. My Geo has the Choice Scarf item to outspeed a ton of Pokemon threats like Iron Bundle, Roaring Moon, and even boosted Pokemon. The synergy with Fluttermane is what makes this pair terrifying. Geo weakens the opponent's special defense with Beads of Ruin, and Fluttermane just cleans house. I often lead with both to control the tempo immediately. Even if the opponent predicts correctly, they are forced into a defensive play right from turn 1. One of my favorite plays from the tournament is one-hit KOing Tinglu, a bulky Pokemon with Energy Ball with Geo on the field to neglect Tinglu's ability, which lowers the special attack of all Pokemon on the field. Let's proceed to the final two Pokemon of the team, Dragonite and Glimmora. Dragonite is a dragon and flying type Pokemon, and I choose the ability Multi-Scale. Most of the trainers run Dragonite as their physical sweeper with Inner Focus and Choice Band, but I went to a different direction. I run it with Multi-Scale holding the item Lamberry. The idea is simple: survive one hit with Multi-Scale, set up Tailwind, or fire off strong attacks before fainting. Pairing it with Lamberry that can stop burns or Spore from supporting the team, and dealing some respectable damage. Icy Spinner helps a lot in a Trick Room team matchup, which can help remove the Psychic Terrain, and I run Terrifying Terra Blast to always one-hit KO Amoonguss, removing the opponent's counter to Dondozo. In Dondozo plus Tatsugiri teams, the Dondozo player usually needs a strong support Pokemon that can function before Dondozo hits the field, and also punish opponents for trying to counter the strategy. That's exactly where my Assault Vest Glimmora shines. Glimmora is a rock and poison type Pokemon with the ability Toxic Debris. When hit by a physical move, it scatters toxic spikes on the opponent's side of the field. It plays a frontline rule, softening up threats and controlling the field with hazards or spread damage, while being difficult to knock out due to its special bulk boost from Assault Vest. It can spread poison status to your opponent's team by using Immortal Spin. When facing teams composed primarily of physical attackers, I typically lead with Dragonite and Glimmora. This combination allows me to establish Tailwind and to set up toxic spikes early, providing both speed control and residual pressure throughout the match. From there, Dondozo can safely enter the field in the late game to stall and clean up weakened opponents, often securing the win. Alternatively, leading with Fluttermane in Chiyu offers an aggressive approach, enabling me to eliminate key threats that Dondozo may struggle against. Another viable strategy involves leading Dondozo alongside an offensive partner such as Chiyu to create pressure from the outset. This setup can force the opponent into a difficult scenario, allowing me to maintain tempo and dictate the flow of the battle. And that's the overview of my team. This team means a lot to me, not just because it's strong, but because it got me to live a dream, competing at Worlds. Going to Japan for Worlds was honestly surreal. Yokohama was so beautiful, amazing food, the people were super welcoming, and walking into the Worlds venue, seeing players from all over the globe, is an energy that's hard to describe. I even got to meet some top players I've looked up to for years. Qualifying for Worlds taught me a lot, not just about team building, but also mindset. Sometimes, you don't need a crazy new strategy, you just need to understand your team inside and out. I spent weeks laddering, testing every matchup, and learning how to adapt mid-game. And honestly, that's what competitive Pokemon is all about. Consistency, adaptation, and confidence. Drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. Don't forget to sub if you want more BGC contents or battle recaps. This is my story, and I'm just getting started.